Ever since I was a kid, I've always wondered what this title stood for. Maybe it stands for professional degree. It sounds right. Many people studying different fields have PhDs, and it's very inclusive. Or maybe it's highest degree possible. All the letters match up, and it's true. PhD actually stands for Doctor of Philosophy. Why though? Not every person with a PhD is specialized in the field of philosophy. That is what we will try to answer in this video. Now, to answer that question, let's build a chart. So, first off, we have philosophy. That's what we study together in this channel. That's our foundation. Now, a branch of philosophy is knowledge. And I talked about knowledge in one of my previous videos, so I'll link it to the end of this video if you want to check it out. But basically, knowledge can be divided into three categories: productive knowledge, practical knowledge, and theoretical knowledge. To the people who watch my knowledge video, productive knowledge may look unfamiliar, and that's because it's a new addition. Previously, I put productive knowledge as a subcategory of practical knowledge, and I have it separate here because I think it's clearer and it's different enough to be its own category. With that out of the way, each of these three categories have different relations. For example, productive knowledge is people to matter, practical knowledge is people to people, and theoretical knowledge is people to language. Each field of study falls into these categories of knowledge. For example, literature and art is productive knowledge, ethics, politics, and economics is practical knowledge, and math, theology, and natural science is theoretical knowledge. So, all the fields of study are a type of knowledge, which is a type of philosophy. That's why PhD is called a Doctor of Philosophy, because at the end of the day, all of that came from philosophy. Now, philosophy is essentially the mother discipline, because other fields of study slowly split off from it. But why is this the case? And that brings us to answering our second question, this time regarding knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is constantly evolving, and it's sort of like a tree. The trunk and the roots are philosophy. It's the foundation and the base. Over time, new branches sprout when new and different concepts are formed. Let's take a look at an example of knowledge evolving. But first, to do so, let's jump back to the 1600s. In 1643, Isaac Newton was born. You know, the big science guy who discovered gravity, wrote the laws of motion, and had huge contributions to physics as we know it today. These are the more well-known facts about Newton. But a lesser-known side of Newton was his alchemy side. Isaac Newton spent decades secretly studying alchemy and searching for the philosopher's stone. This stone was no ordinary stone. It was said for it to be able to turn any metal into gold. But obviously, this is impossible, at least not the way Newton tried. But Newton didn't know. He had no idea how atoms really worked, and didn't have any knowledge in chemistry. Back then, there was no chemistry. Matter of fact, there wasn't even physics. In its place, there was natural philosophy. So, when we now say Isaac Newton was a physicist, back then, he was really a natural philosopher. His first book wasn't even titled Physics. It was titled The Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy. So someone using math to study natural philosophy. Those principles that he created in his book were the laws of motion and gravitation, which became the foundations of physics. Real quick, let's look at an example of physics concepts. Physics is the study of the interactions between matter and energy. Seems simple enough. We all probably know about ice, water, and steam, and how they are made up of the same matter just in three different states. In ice, the molecules are closer together since they have low energy, so they don't have the strength to move around a lot. In liquid water, the molecules are a bit further apart than ice since they have medium energy, which is enough energy to spread out a little more. In steam, molecules are the furthest apart since they have high energy and they move far apart. So, these are the states of water, or more generally, the states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. This is a physics concept because the states of water is determined by how much energy the particles have. Notice how in physics, the matter itself didn't change. Rather, the states did. Now, what if the matter changes, and how do we even get the water molecules? This would be entering chemistry territory, and going one step further, chemistry branches off of physics. While physics describes how matter behaves in bulk, chemistry explains why matter behaves that way at the level of atoms and molecules. So, essentially, chemistry builds off of physics and covers the things that it doesn't. Chemistry is the study of matter, its properties, and how it changes. So, to answer what the water molecules even are, we could use this chemical equation. 2H2 reacts with O2 to create 2H2O. Basically, two pairs of two hydrogen atoms react with two oxygen atoms to create water. This is chemistry. It answers the questions of what ice, water, and steam are made up of, and how the water molecules were created. And in chemistry, the matter changed, while in physics, it did not. But even in the past, when the now fields of study weren't a thing, they still existed. For example, even though chemistry wasn't a thing a long time ago, it was still happening. During the year 850 AD in China, alchemists were trying to create an elixir of longevity. Basically, drinking this elixir would extend one's life. They combined potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal, hoping to see a result. Gunpowder. While it didn't create the desired elixir of life, gunpowder was used in fireworks, simple weapons, and later on, guns. So yeah, chemistry has been around for a very long time. It just wasn't called chemistry. People didn't know. So, a PhD stands for Doctor of Philosophy, because every field of study is a type of knowledge, which is a part of philosophy. And knowledge is like a tree, constantly evolving and growing new branches, while the old branches become bigger and stronger with time. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.